Shalom, everyone. How are you guys? Pastor Nick told me coming here is not, preaching to the choir, like playing in your own bass. This is something that I feel more than actually knowing you, that I feel very warm in this place. This is the vibes, the environment, the photos, the flag, the city of Jerusalem in front of me. And the fact that the pastor just told me, you have the stage, go for it. Another fact which makes me warm is the fact that I came from the colder states, arriving to Florida. So my friends, today's meeting is going to try to give an overview about me and about the organization I'm representing, CFOIC. This is a complicated matter. Honestly, many people hear it over and over again, and it's hard to get what's happening. One of the reasons is because while you have guest speakers like me coming and addressing you, whenever you're going to open the radio or the news, the TV or online, you would see things that are going to make you feel, let's say, with mixed emotions. The reality that you're being shown at the news, at the media, is the complete opposite of what I'm trying to present today and what others did. So this is why there are some things in life that it's not good enough to, I know it and let's continue. You need to constantly remind yourself and hear it again and again and again. This is the battle for the truth. And there aren't enough soldiers to fight it. When we're trying to come here, all the way here, to promote our ideology and our understanding, it tells you that every person counts. And it's not enough that I'm going to share today and you're going to be convinced or not and you're going to continue. We hope that every person in here is going to be a new ambassador for the cause. Okay? So we're going to start with a short clip, please, that tells you about what is CFOIC in 1 or 2 minutes, the intro. In the meanwhile, there's going to be booklets being given to you with some more information.
Christian Friends of Israeli Communities. Who are they?
Christian Friends of Israeli Communities, also known as CFOIC Heartland, was established in 1995 as a Christian response to the 1993 Oslo Peace Accords. Christians around the world were concerned about Israel's territorial concessions and wanted a way to support the Jewish people in the biblical heartland, Judea and Samaria.
CFOIC Heartland has 3 purposes. 1, educate, 2, visit, and 3, support.
To educate Christians about the Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria.
Help Christians visit these communities in Judea and Samaria.
To provide an avenue for Christians to financially support vital community needs in Judea and Samaria.
Since the beginning, CFOIC Heartland has stood with the Jews who are at greatest risk in Israel.
Now that you know who CFOIC Heartland is,
You can join our family today.
By getting updates from Israel.
or by leading or joining a tour.
or by making a donation.
We'd love to meet you. Join the CFOIC Heartland family.
More than anything, thank you. More than anything, I just wanted to give you not even the words the people were saying. I want to show you the communities there, the people who live there. You saw in this clip kids, adults, different ages. People are trying to live their life quietly. Because this is usually a meeting that goes around Torah learning, biblical studies, I want to jump and start this with a small verse, few verses in the Bible that we're going to try to learn together. What do you say? Perfect. So the verses are in book of Samuel 1. I say Samuel, and in Hebrew, Samuel is my name, Shmuel. So if you're having a hard time to say Shmuel, you can call me Samuel or just Sam. And I want to give you an intro to the story that we're just encountering in this verse. It goes as follows. So Samuel, after the story of how we brought into the temple, the tabernacle in Shiloh, he begins a journey to find a new king to Israel. That's going to be the first time that a king is going to be in Israel. The story is that this is a hard situation because there's something in a king that almost, divides you or separates you from God. Oh, you need somebody to be controlling you, over you? Anyway, they try to find the new king, and there's a person named Saul. Comes from a family, and he has a problem. He has a problem that makes him and his servant wander away in the region. Who remember what happened to him? Why is he wandering? The donkeys are lost. The family had donkeys. Yeah? They got lost. In those times, when you had a prophet nearby, you would go and ask him. He could help you know even the simple questions like, where are my donkeys? For you, it's simple. For them, that was almost all their life. Think about it just for a second. The feeling you have when you have a prophet near you. He can help you in finding out the biggest questions in life. What should I go and learn in university? Who should I marry? Right? What do I need to do for life? Saul used it this time for something very simple. Where are going to be my donkeys? Now, the Bible describes in many verses how they discussed among themselves, the servant and Saul, where they're going to go, how exactly they're going to talk with the prophet, how much money they're going to pay him. This, on and on conversation. And this is the time they arrive. So they enter the city that Samuel is in. The prophet at that time would be called the seer. And now they want to know where he is going or where is he, right? You need to find them. So this is the verse. And as they went up to the hill to the city, they found what's the word? Young girls going out to draw water, and said unto them, is the seer here? Simple question for a simple person. Bunch of girls drawing water, simple question. Where is seer? Now, if you would go to modern-day Israel today, and you would ask somebody a question, how do I arrive somewhere? the answer is going to be concluded in 2-3 words. Usually it's going to be, go straight and left. Done. Simple question, simple answer. More complicated, go straight, left, and then take a right. Whatever. The truth is, this is a rare phenomenon. Kids, I want you to listen up. Asking somebody in the streets how to arrive somewhere, you probably never saw it happening because we have those devices, and I have a GPS and another Waze, at least Israeli Waze, and I don't need to ask anybody any question. I'm with my phone, that's it. But Saul and his servant had to ask a question. Where's the seer? I told you my idea of an answer. Now let's see the answer the girls give. Next verse. And they answered them and said, He is, behold, he is before you. Make haste now, for he came today to the city, for there is a sacrifice of the people today in the high place. Next verse. The answer is not finished. As soon as ye come into the city, ye shall straightway find him, before he go up to the high place to eat. For the people will not eat until he come, because he doth bless the sacrifice, and afterwards they eat that be bidden. Now therefore, get you up, for about this time ye shall find him. Where is the go straight and left we were waiting for? This is the longest answer, probably for the very simple question that could be concluded in straight and left. Why are they using so many words to describe something so simple? Ever thought of this verse before? So now, commentary together. Your pastor records every week a podcast about the weekly portion. He explains verses. I heard it a couple of times. Beautiful. What happens in here? Simple question. Give me some simple answer. What is all this charade? So many words, 2 verses. Holy Bible, every word counts. Come on, no? Give me an answer. It's an open question. Don't be shy. First person. You heard what she said? That's what happened when women are answering. Now, if a man would answer this question, you see what happens here. A lady just answered the most honest answer. Most of the men here knew this, wanted to say this, but the wife is sitting nearby. She didn't want to get into trouble. She said something which is very true. Because women speak more than men. While a man could finish this in go straight and left, they had to give the whole story. That's the truth. Thank you for that. So usually when people don't give you this answer, I give this answer, and then I sound like chauvinist or something. Went very well. Thank you. Perfectly true. It's true. Any other ideas? Why such a long answer? What? Why? But that's wait. I'm gonna repeat what you said. They had to keep it simple, but they gave a very long answer. That's the opposite from simple. You're right. That's what they're supposed to do. Keep it simple. We're guests. We don't know how to arrive. Show us the way. They give us an introduction to the culture city of the sacrifice of the area. No more? I'll tell you some of the opinions I hear. Somebody once told me it's because they wanted to give them an overview of the culture of the area. It's not that easy to find the prophet. If you're going to go now fast, they want to elaborate how it's very important you should go very fast. That's an answer. Please? It's a foreshadow of the future. What do you mean?
Well, who's going to become the king? Who's going to become king? Saying they're not going to eat until the person that's going to be the king is going to come out and sacrifice.
But it's not what he said. The people are waiting until the prophet comes. That's not what they said. But timing. Timing is crucial. When God appointed Saul, he appointed him in a special moment. There's going to be a moment in life, that's going to be the exact moment. Not a single second before that. These girls are running time because he needs to arrive there at the exact second. This is something about, the divine. It's all about timing. We just said, Pastor, all about timing. Somebody gave me an answer to think about. The only thing we know about Saul before this is that he was a handsome, beautiful man, taller than all the people. Somebody told me, young girls, they wanted to look at him more. Enjoy. Maybe. Not a joke. Theories. I want to say my answer. It is a bit radical, but it's simple. And I think this is the truth. The truth is, this answer is the answer each and every person who sits in this room would give, including me. You look at me like, what? Think about the situation. You are given an opportunity to give an answer for a simple, minor question, but your answer is going to be written forevermore in the Holy Bible. Now, for you, me and you would try to squeeze every idea of a word to throw in the sentence just to grab another verse of the Bible. You could be a bigger part of the story. Wouldn't you take advantage of that? Sure you would. The girls could have concluded the answer by go straight and left. They could have done it. Then what? Forevermore, the nice girls are going to be written in 2 words. And they said, go straight and left. Now the girls have 3 verses of the Bible. They took a bigger part of the story. They talked with the first king of Israel, and somebody 2,000 years and more later is going to talk about him in Tampa, Brandon, Florida. This is something that's going to change the world for them. And they took the opportunity, seized the opportunity to take a bigger part of the story. Or, as you would say, take a bigger chunk of the cake. This is a situation that doesn't come so often in life. When you're in a critical situation, that you can get more. And what I'm trying to say today is when I'm dealing with Judea and Samaria, this is exactly what we're trying to do. We are taking a bigger part of the story. And it goes as follows. A short introduction to the historical story. You got 2 booklets, a big one and a small one. Please open the small one, page 12. Map number 6. So, we're going to talk today about the modern state of Israel. The one that was, reclaimed in 1948. And the reason I'm starting there is because hopefully in the background you would see photos with verses that are going to tell you and remind you, because you know all of it, places in the Bible that talked about the connection between Israel and the Holy Land. I don't need to start the conversation today about the roots of the promise of this week portion, Lech Lecha, that God told Abraham, this is your land. I'm not going to start there. Why? Because we all agree on that, right? There's no need to waste time on this. You would see verses on verses over verses from all the books that going to just remind you. You can look at them, you can look at me. It's not important. You believe and you know that this land was promised to the Jewish nation. Perfect. But now there was a problem in this promise. Because we knew that in the process of the promise, there was going to be a long period of exile. The Jewish people are going to live spread around in the world without their land. Now, every person with a bit of sense in his mind who knows something about history knows that we were against the odds. Everywhere we lived, our life was torture. Right? Killed us, tortured us, hate us, sent us to other places. From the time of the Crusaders into the Inquisition in Spain, into the only recent World War II Holocaust, 6 million Jews. Against the odds. Now, another thing we don't need to argue is that if God wants to do something, He's going to do it. And against the odds, against every person, every theory, every understanding of logic, God told us that He's going to come and take us from all the corners of the world back to our promised land. That happened in 1948. And the great thing about it, that in the first time, every person who believed in this book saw a prophecy coming true in front of his eyes. It's not that simple to explain that, but this is something that happened 2,000 years after the prophet gave the prophecy. We saw it with our eyes happening. This is a miracle and a prophecy coming true. In 1948, we came back to the promised land. I want to show you inside the size of the promised land. In the small booklet, in map number 6, you will see the offer of the partition plan. The British mandate held Israel, the territory of Israel that was named then Palestine, Palestina in Hebrew. And he wanted to divide the land between the Arabs and the Jews. And when I say Arabs, it's important to note, Arabs, these were Arabs who lived in the territory. They weren't Palestinians. My grandmother is a Palestinian. She was born in Palestine. She's Jewish, but she was born in the territory that was called Palestine. No Palestinians, Arabs who lived in the area. Now look again at the map inside. The blue area is Israel, the Jewish land, and the orange area is going to be the Arab. Most of it under the control of Jordan. Now this is just, if you've been in Israel or not, that's what the situation show you. You see all the lower part under Beersheba? This is a desert. This is desert, Negev, nothing there. You see the coast? A very narrow area of the coast. And then you have the Galilee. You can also see that the places are not even connected. It's one part, and then another part, and then another part. Where is Jerusalem in this photo? Not in our hand. An international zone that's not going to be under our hand. The funny part is, although I see it today and I actually, like, this is not an offer. This is sad. That is an offer we said yes to. We had nothing. Remember where we were? We had nothing and we said yes to this offer. The Arab said no. And from the first moment Ben Gurion reclaimed the land, they began to attack us. Wars and wars and wars. We had nothing. Not an army. Almost no people. But we managed to survive. But something was missing. Something was missing, and that was the very simple notion that for 2,000 years, when we thought of Israel, when you think of Israel, you don't think of Tel Aviv. You don't think of Netanya. I was born and raised in Netanya. It's a great place, but it's not the place you think about. You're thinking about the Bible and all the places that are mentioned there. When you read Lech Lecha, and you saw Abraham arrive to the Oak of Moreh, okay, and then he moved to Bethel, then Egypt, came back to Beersheba, then Hebron. Those are the places. And it's a story after a story. All the places that are mentioned in the Bible. These are the places we were praying to come back to. We wanted to come back to the place, to reclaim the place which we were promised, which the history, everything started with. Simple to understand. In 1967, you just need to move one page. Something amazing happened. Look at the blue color of the map. Do you understand what happened there? In 6 days, we were able to reclaim Judea and Samaria, the Golan Heights, and the desert of Sinai. If this is not a miracle, I don't know what is. Small army. Against a few countries, we were able to reclaim what's ours. But the modern state of Israel, and that's the sad part, doesn't see things as clear as people who believe the Bible do. For us, it's clear what should happen in this moment, right? Thank you, God. Let's party. They immediately began negotiating how we would manage the area without making so many wars. We're going to give back things, and it's going to be quiet. The first thing they gave back was, what's the first thing they gave back? Who said? The Temple Mount. The same day, they gave the key to the Mufti. You're in charge, and we see what happens till this day. Jews are not allowed to go on the Temple Mount and pray. I'm going to repeat it because it's not clear. I'm going to say it again. Jews are not able to go up on the Temple Mount and pray. Go online, search it up. If a person goes and says a word of prayer, he's going to be arrested on the spot. You know that? But you're allowed to go in, right? We gave the most precious treasure we could have had for all the story, we gave it back. We like peace. We want to be quiet in our land. Okay? Then negotiated a deal with Egypt. The oil, the area, everything that could have happened in this place which is bigger than Israel itself, modern day Israel, take it back. And the Egyptians took Sinai. Now, there's 3 obstacles in the way. There's the Golan Heights, there's Judea and Samaria, and there's Gaza Strip. What happens was, still happens, is that in Gaza and in Judea and Samaria, they are big population numbers of Arabs. And they are going to be there, and they're going to live there. And there's nothing to do with that fact until now. But the government of Israel wanted Jewish people to live in this area. Now, I've never asked this in public. Why? Why do Jewish people need to live in an area that if you're going to open the news, this is where everything happened? The shooting, the stabbing, the stoning. Why? Why would a government want people to go and settle the area? What? Sadly, it's not the reason. Because it belongs to them, it's not the reason the government wants it. The government wants it because they understand this is a critical point in the land. And for security issues, we must live in the area. If we won't live in the area, missiles are going to be thrown into every spot in Israel. Because the Golan Heights and Judea and Samaria has 2 things in common. The first and most important is these are the mountains of Israel. The mountains of Shomron, the mountains of Judea. If they are going to control the mountain, the people down in the valley or just in the land are going to suffer. So what do? You begin to give people an opportunity to go back to the promised land. I'm going to call it today the biblical heartland. The biblical heartland. And people begin to come back. And they open one community and another one and another one and another one. And they live the land. And they do the same thing in the Gaza Strip. Very soon I'm going to tell you how this is ended. But they did it also in the Gaza Strip. Communities thriving. Now I want you to open this big booklet to see the area I'm talking. This is the map in large of Judea and Samaria. Samaria is the places above Jerusalem, north. Judea are the places south of Jerusalem. I want you to play a game with me. First of all, find Jerusalem. Find Jerusalem. You have it? Above Jerusalem, 3, 4, 5 fingers, there's a place called Shiloh. There's a photo, the tabernacle, Shiloh. In the south of Jerusalem, there's a place called Hebron. You see it? I'm going to play a game, and I'm going to point out some places, and I'm going to try to remember where are they mentioned in the Bible. So go down, we start in Hebron. Hebron. David lives in Hebron. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rachel, Leah are all buried in Hebron. Go up. Elazar, Efrat, Alon Shvut. On the right, you would see Tekoa. You know who's from Tekoa? Sounds familiar? Amos, the prophet, is from Tekoa. Efrat. The book of Ruth is about the region of Efrat. And Bethlehem, that you know for sure. Go up, above Jerusalem. You see Bethel. And across the road, you see Ophrah. Bethel, Jacob's dream. Abraham is there. Ophrah, sounds familiar? The person you mentioned a few minutes ago, Gideon, is from Ophrah. You go up and you arrive to Shiloh. 345 years. Tabernacle stood there. Go a bit to the upper area and you will see where Joseph is being buried, Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim, the oak of Moreh. I just pointed out random communities to show you something that you know and I know, but it's hard to understand. When we came back to the biblical heartland, we didn't invent anything. We came back to reclaim what's ours. What was promised to our forefathers. What was promised that we're going to return after the exile and we're going to reclaim. To take the places where for 2,000 years people had dreamed to see again. Jerusalem. That's hard for me to explain because obviously that's exactly what people were praying for. When are we going to come back to those areas? You want to see where I live? You see Shechem? Take the left all the way. You see the green line? Just next to it, Sufim. You see Sufim? I'll tell you something. And this is where the story of CFOIC starts. This is an introduction that shows you how we came to reclaim the area that's ours. But now we have a problem. Our neighbors, the people who live here, the Arabs, do not believe this is our land. And I would say more than that. They have a very serious problem with the fact that we came back after a biblical promise. It's one thing to negotiate business and territory when we are two countries without any claims. But when you come and you say, it's all nice, this negotiation, but look, I have a very, very old contract. You see? This is a hard place to negotiate with. So what do? How can they stop it? They are trying to make our life miserable. Stones on the road, Molotovs being thrown to the roads, shooting. Sometimes they are able to enter our communities, shoot and slide, stab people to death. Pure stabbing. In the end of the day, I would say as follows. In every single second, there are many of them who are trying to stop us from living there. We had bad times, worse time, and we had some times of quiet. But the general notion is they're trying to do everything they can to stop us. But they have a problem. The problem is that they are dealing with people who live here not because they chose the most secure place for their children, not because they choose a place next to work, not because there's very good shopping malls and swimming pools in the area, and it's next to the beach. It's a word. We don't use it often. Maybe we need to tell the kids what it means. It calls ideology. Ideology is the fact that they are choosing where to live according to what they believe in. And they believe that they are blessed to reclaim the prophecy and the miracle of God. Now go deal with them. How can you deal with that? These are people that understand that security is not going to be there. They understand that they need to commute to work. And they understand that leisure, shopping malls and swimming pools, it's not even something relevant to the story. So what do we do in CFOIC? CFOIC are doing something very simple. We are coming out to people like you who understand something. You understand how this is a promise to the Jewish nation to come back to our land. And you understand how Israel is awesome, but really when you look at what's important, if you want to take a bigger part of the story, as we start with, this is the biblical heartland. And the truth is as follows. The people who lived in Judea and Samaria today are modern-day pioneers. In 2018, I want to say it again because we had pioneers in every country in the world, including this area. Good for them. When was it? 50, 100, 300 years ago. In 2018, when we are looking on better ways to live all the time, how can we make our life more comfortable, more quiet, more happy? Only a bunch of people are able to live in this state of mind. We live in a place because we believe in the ideology behind it. Now, if it would be a bunch of them, a few hundreds, a few thousands, I would say, you know what, it's not human, it's something really above and beyond. How many Jewish people live in Judea and Samaria today? Near 500,000. Israel is 7 million. 500,000 Jews live in this region. And I will tell you this. When I use the word pioneers, this is not a light word. Because they are enabling us to live all around Israel in quiet. And I say all the time, they. I can't really claim this because I went through a process in my life. I spent many years studying biblical studies in Eli, next to Shiloh. and in the Jordan Valley. But I wasn't born and raised in Samaria. As I said, I came from a very nice city, Netanya. You can see it on the map. Very nice city on the coast. But when I got married, I found out something very interesting about my wife's family. My wife's grandmother left a city next to Tel Aviv to establish one of the first communities in Samaria. If you want to see it, you can find Kdumim. Look at Shechem, take to the left one finger, you would see Kdumim. She established this community. Talking about 45 years ago. My mother-in-law, her daughter, my wife's mother, was born and raised here in Kdumim, a settler. My wife was born and raised in Tzufim, a settler. And now my 3 kids, soon to be 4, are living settlers in Samaria. 4 generations. This is not something which is here, quiet, passing. We are there to stay. And I said before that the people who live in Judea and Samaria are enabling everybody else to live in the region. How is it so? Because now I'm going to share something that happened to us that made everybody understood how crucial it is for Jewish people to live in this area. And it happened 15 years ago, 2006, 2005. How much is it? 13 years ago. I told you about the communities who lived in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip. Beautiful communities on the ocean. Beautiful. Our Prime Minister, Ariel Sharon, decided one day to try something else. Let's evacuate those communities to give an opportunity for peace to happen. Yeah, great opportunity. But something in the process was the most horrible moment in what I remember in my life. For the first time, you saw Jewish soldiers with the flag of Israel on their arm taking Jewish settlers, throwing them out of their houses. Somebody remembers this? Yes. A horrible moment. One of the lowest, I would say, in the modern state of Israel for sure. How can we continue from there? They evacuated all the Jews from there. At least we had hope. At least we're going to have peace now. It's going to be quiet. Here, we evacuated everything. We gave you the area. It's all yours. Then you said, Gaza is going to be the next Singapore. Billions of dollars were invested in making Gaza the new Singapore. Money given by UN and they took billions of dollars and they've built something amazing. It's a town. It's a city, but it's an underground city. They built an underground city for tunnels to make it easy to throw missiles, to kidnap soldiers, and to dig their way through to Israel and just pop from the land, jump out, and shoot around them. We went to 3 circles of war to try to stop them. If you open the news every given day, you would see this is still continuing till this day. Last week, a house was ruined in Beersheba by a missile thrown from Gaza. There's not even words to explain how stupid we feel, the people that were against this plan. Do you understand what happened? You gave our enemies all the power to build the best way to attack us. They now just open a door, throw a missiles from underground, and shut it, and that's it. Because of what happened in Gaza, all the cities around it are now under attack. Major cities like Ashdod, Ashkelon, Sderot, Beersheba. You heard the names. You know what's going to happen if you're going to take away the people of Judea and Samaria? The cities that you're going to hear that are going to be attacked by missiles are going to be Tel Aviv, Haifa, Netanya, Ben Gurion Airport. Now you understand that not a prophecy, a miracle. These are for the people who believe, me and you. Modern day Israel needs the people who live in Judea and Samaria, because without them, who knows what's going to happen? We live in a dangerous area. And we tried everything we can. But that's what we have right now. We are trying to live our best as pioneers in the biblical heartland of Israel, fulfilling a prophecy, because we believe, just like the girls in the story of Saul, that we are in a crucial moment and we're taking a bigger part of the story, a bigger chunk of the cake. This is an opportunity we had. We could decide live in Netanya, live in Tel Aviv, live in Haifa or Ra'anana. You still live in Israel. It's awesome. But you could finish with straight and left, or you could go into the places where this is where a pioneer lived in 2018. And the reason I'm here today is because we are trying to share this knowledge with the world. The world needs to know it. The world needs to know it. You need to know it. Be our ambassadors. And if you want to take a bigger part of the story from far, one, come to visit. Number two, support those people. Support the people who live here and chose to live here because they knew they're doing the right thing. And God is going to provide. As God is going to fulfill the prophecy one way or another. I want to open up for a small round of questions, and I want to conclude. I was told you're going to have a lot of questions. Please. We're marked with 15 minutes. Please.
What are some of the things that you guys are doing in the communities?
Thank you for that. I gave you 3 elements of what people usually look for when they choose a place to live. Security, work, and leisure. These are the 3 elements we work with. 1, security. Communities in Judea and Samaria are being protected by the army. But human beings don't have the ability to be everywhere at all time. I want to remind you 2 incidents that happened in Judea and Samaria. One is a name you all remember. The Fogel family of Itamar. They came in, slaughtered the family. Don't even remember the photos of what happened there. Continue. In Neve Tzuf, the same thing happened a year ago. A person came, stabbed the family to death. Father managed to stop him. We are investing a lot of money in cameras, special equipment we are able to give to the communities and spread around the community. So then you have a protection that the army cannot give you, not because it doesn't want, because it cannot. It cannot be at all time everywhere. Another thing, if something happened, God forbid, in the community, until the army is going to come, it's going to take a while. We have in every place a first response team. These are people who left the army a couple of years ago, they're in reserve, and they know how to act in every situation of emergency. Medical, terrorist, they have machine guns, they know, they're trained all the time with the army, and they are the one to respond at the area. Number 2, we said work. We can provide work, not relevant, but we are giving and providing help and support to the system of work. Look of how things are complicated. So let's say you live in, we mentioned the Fogels, so that's huge, Itamar. Itamar is, you see 3 C's outlook, go all the way to the right. It's like next to Shechem, like a symbol. Next to it, there's a place called Itamar. So you live in Itamar, and you need to work. You're driving more than an hour to a major city in the central of Israel. 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. So your wife wants to work also. She needs to work to provide for the family. But your schools are finished at 1 o'clock. What do? It's only going to take you an hour back and forth. So you're going to leave work at 12? Or your wife? It's not relevant. So we have a system of daycares in the communities that take the kids home, to a home, feed them, play with them, provide them time until the parents are coming from work. It's something simple. Here, in a situation like this, you never think about it. But in those places, you don't have this. It's not a big town. So this is one thing. Number 2, elders. Think about it. You get old, you're stuck in a place without nothing. You lived because of ideology, but now you're in a place without any leisure. Another, houses and support to those people. Music rooms, libraries. This is under leisure. And I'm going to tell you what's the biggest leisure equipment we have. It's going to be sad, but this is a playground. In a community that with 20 families, you're going to have something around 100 to 150 kids, right? A small playground changes their life. And this is something small that a community can provide. Those communities cannot. With the help of CFOIC, we are able to give it. It goes to special needs kids and many other issues, but that are the main things. I'm going to leave in the back a booklet of all the projects we do. Online in our website, CFOIC, you're going to see everything that we do in the communities. Yes.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Involving the government. What are the what are the chances of the government allowing the average citizen to be armed with guns? And the other one was
Who? To be
armed with guns, that the
Well,
average citizen can carry a gun
the
to
citizen
protect
here.
himself. And the other one is, what are the chances of the government allowing, getting on the right side and allowing the the Jews and Christians and whosoever will to go up on the Temple Mount and pray?
For the first question about moving with arms, the answer is they are allowed. People who live in Judea and Samaria are allowed to take a shooting permit or whatever you call it, and they can go with a gun. You're right, this is one of the most crucial things they can have. But remember, the process is different. You're driving in your car. You're being stoned by kids from a hill. There's nothing you can do. Really? So you get out of the car, what, you're going to shoot in the air? If somebody comes to your house, I understand that. But this is not the case. This is just not the case. That's number one. Number two, Temple Mount. What are the chances? Not good. I think we're not there. We need to pray for that. It's far from happening. We're still under the pressure and the fear from what's going to be the result of that. And I don't see any solution right now with this. Sorry. The government. Sure, yeah. Prime Minister, the government. Just want to remind you, it was 2 years ago, we gave them, security said that we need to have a magnometers, right? The one you have in the airport when you come, don't have metal on you, I'm going to say it. Because of this, riots, stabbing, stories, this is a very delicate and sensitive situation. And I must say, we can only blame ourselves. Yes. There's another question here. Please.
I was just wondering, why not call your areas where you live villages versus settlements? Because settlements has that connotation of occupation where you're really living, like you mentioned earlier, in the land that was given to you. So
absolutely. You're right. If you noticed in this talk, I never used the word settlement. I used the word they settled in the beginning, and I stopped from there, and I used the words communities. It is what you're saying is a very important note, and I think this is something we need to change in the way we talk. This is why we are CFOIC, Christian Friend of Israeli Communities. We could have said the Israeli settlers or whatever. Communities, you're absolutely spot on. Very true. Thank you for that note. Yes?
I noticed here that it talks about communities destroyed August 2005 at the top of the big map.
Yeah.
And I understand the government no longer destroys communities. That's true?
So remember I talked about what happened in Gaza? Other than Gaza, there were 3 communities that were destroyed in the north of the Shomron. That was the last time a big community was destroyed. Do we still destroy? I must tell you that in the last couple of years, there were still here and there changes. The truth is as follows. The government did not evacuate any community which was legit. In the sense of legit, I mean with every community, and it's important to note, we are there with the support of the government. Stop imagining that 3 people, boys, in the middle of the night come, put a caravan and a dog, and there's a new settling. No, it's not happening. Everything is under control with the army, with the government, and we're going to give you the very simple fact. We won't be able to have electricity and water if the government wouldn't prove it to our community. So every community is controlled by that. Since 2005, not a big community was destroyed. They were pieces of land, pieces of communities, small houses that were built in an illegal ground, which means that an Arab came and showed an agreement he had 100 years ago on this territory. This is what to be righteous is. Israel is so righteous that in every situation you would tell them how much it's worth. $10 million, $100 million. Come, we're going to give you another land or we'll give you the money. No, they ruined it. So it's a house here and it's a house there. It's not something so dramatic. I hope it's going to remain in this system. Yes?
Going back to the Temple Mount,
Yeah.
I always have the image of watching the footage in 1967 when they got up to the Temple Mount, and and it was like hooray, and
Yeah.
and then and I know it's timing and everything, but do you have any thoughts on why they gave it back? I mean, political. Is there any reason why they would have? Because I remember when the one guy, the big guy, the general, whatever, told him, yeah.
Moshe Dayan.
Is there any thoughts on why they made that decision? I mean,
there's an amazing professor in Israel. Just forgot his name right now, but I'm gonna come back. And he is like profession is Middle Eastern, religious and politics. And he says something amazing. You can see him in Al Jazeera on YouTube. He talks Arabic better than I speak Hebrew. He's Israeli, he's Jewish, religious. I forgot his name. I'm going to remember in a few minutes. And he talks with, men of faith and religion in Al Jazeera, and he claims as follows. He claims Jerusalem is not being mentioned even once in the Quran. Now it comes as a shock for me. What? But they're like making a big deal of everything that happens there. Jerusalem is not mentioned even once in the Quran. Remember this. So what's the story? The story is that, according to another book, it says that before Muhammad went to the sky, he put his donkey or his horse in that area. This is why it's holy. It's like officially the third or fourth religious sites in their faith. In '67, when all the countries were against us and we were in a situation that wasn't good, the state of Israel, the government thought that if we're going to hold the Temple Mount, the war with the Islamic world, would never finish. So it's the answer to what you asked before. Reality is that we are surrounded by many, many, many Muslims, and we know their extreme religion, jihad movement. I think it's too much to handle, at least in the perspective of the Prime Minister of Israel and the government. They just don't think it's worthwhile, the war and the casualties and everything else. That's sad, but that's reality. Anyone else? Microphone? Thank you for that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the IDF, when they go in, they receive weapons, correct?
The IDF?
IDF.
Yeah, what about him?
All right, if the IDF receives weapons, they also take them home, correct?
Not always. No. Yes, but let's say as a soldier.
They always take them home.
Today they
Why I've been
changed.
told.
But they have. Okay, let's say they have.
All right, now that answered one of my questions. The second one is, why isn't there IDF in your communities?
Why there isn't?
Right, they have, IDF is all over Israel.
Correct.
So do you have IDF in the communities?
Yes.
They don't protect you?
Of course they do. Of course they do. But I'll answer this. It's a good question. Army, have bases. They are all over the region, many of them in Judea and Samaria. But when you're a neighbor with a village, there are so many directions the terrorists can come. A soldier, so the answer is they're not having a circle around us with hands and stopping terrorists from entering. They can't. So they have patrol with cars, and they have, people who observe the area. But you can maneuver it. This is an open area, mountains and valleys, and they know how to work it through. And I'm going to give you another insight between us and all the others, and the people who are listening on YouTube. There's a philosophy behind security who says as follows. Actually mentioned in the Bible. Remember when the spies are being sent by Moses, he asked them, are the cities have a wall around them or not? And the perspective that Moses wants to give is, if you have a wall around you, are you strong or weak? The instinct is going to say strong, right? The truth is you're weak. You have a wall because you're afraid if they're going to enter, you're done. If you live in a city without a wall, that means that you're crazy strong. You're not afraid. Bring it in. The philosophy of many communities in Judea and Samaria, not all of them, is to live in a place without a fence. It tells you two things. One, I am not afraid. Number two, this is my land. I don't need to put a fence around places I can spread. When you put a fence, you're saying, that's only me. Whatever outside, it's yours. Because of that, and because of communities that are not fenced, you have huge areas to control and to overlook. This is why we need the extra support. I think we have 10 minutes with our time, which means an extra 5 that I took from them. And I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm not going to show a video, and I'm going to tell you a short story that happened to me personally and really made sense of everything. So remember, yes?
Sorry, I had a quick question. Sorry, had to come down from the
I
booth.
stopped it, yeah.
My question is in regards to how Christians are received, how the support is received in Samaria. I know obviously it's still, it's still in the process of restoration, between Jews and Christians, but is it received well? Is it warming up? I mean, how are even the far religious, are they still receiving it pretty well, or is it still kind of tense?
Very good question. Thank you for that. She asked a very good question, and I'm going to answer as follows. As a young teenager, and even a person who went to the army, and even a person who went to university, and learned many years in a biblical school, a rabbinical school, honestly, never heard of the concept of people who love and support us outside of Israel. When you open the news and when you read about relationship that Israel has outside of Israel, it's always BDS, boycott Israel, they hate you here, somebody burned a synagogue over there, a cemetery was broken over there. That was the notion of Jewish, Christian, or even put it wider, outside of Israel relationship. Reality, I'm telling you, that's what I felt. It changed for me only when I was 27 or something, and I didn't say that. I didn't have time. With all the time you gave me, you see, there's more. We spent 4 years educating in Hong Kong. Remember the story I told you with Saul and the girls? This is not like a theory. I tried to live my life according to this. I want to be in places and situations of elements that are crucial. I want to take a bigger part of the story. Simple. This is me, Shmuel. So I'm a lawyer, and I thought, really, that's what I'm going to do. Sit next to a computer, go to court. I went, my wife, we went together to Hong Kong to educate Jewish kids in a Jewish high school. I spent 4 years there. 3 of my kids were born there. Came back to Israel. In Hong Kong already, I felt that what I was told, or at least what's the notion I had about love to Israel, wasn't true. I walked in Japan. People came to me, say, we love Israel. I saw a big flag. This is something. We love it. There's a house to host Israelis. What? Went to New Zealand. Same happened. Houses all around New Zealand of people who love and support Israel. In the Philippines it happens. In China it happens. So what's going on? Only when I came back to Israel and I began to look at the process. What does it mean? Now you walk in Judea and Samaria, almost in every community, and you see a sign saying, this playground, this security, this whatever, was donated by Christian Friends of Israeli Communities. So the answer to you is, this is a process. In the beginning, or a lot of people don't even know what you're talking about when you're talking about Christians supporting Israel. It's not relevant. More and more people claim to understand what's going on. We see it on the news. We see those contribution signs. We see in the Fast of Tabernacle, people are walking the streets, hooray Israel. What? I would say more than that. Whenever I finish one of those tours, which I travel to the States, and this time been to several states already, I'm always feeling that people of Israel need to know about it. The fact that so many people left their houses on a random Monday night and spent an hour or 2 hours to listening about Israel because they care about Israel, because they love Israel. That is something that you need to be applauded, not me. And many don't know it yet. You just don't. You're right. I think as the process is going to continue and we would understand the situation in the right sense, you and us, I think it's going to only grow bigger, and we will feel the love, and you will feel the love when you're coming to visit Israel. So I have 5 minutes as marked, and I'm going to finish with a short story. So I want to bring you back to 2010. You finish the army, you're doing 3 years of army, and then you're being released, but you're not really released. Why? There's reserves. They can call you whenever. But when they call you in what we call Tzav Shmona, which is a lot of troops together, you understand something serious is going to happen. Only happens before war. 2010, after Gaza throwing missiles to us nonstop, the government of Israel decided we are going on an operation to stop the madness in Gaza. And I received a phone call. It's a machine. It tells me to a Saturday night, tomorrow morning, you need to be in a certain point. You're being collected to reserved. You're going to Gaza. Very serious moment. I was single there, but people left, wife, kids. You're going to war. You're going to Gaza. The one thing we knew about Gaza, that the tunnels were ready. And they said very specifically, we are looking to kidnap soldiers. We're going on the bus in Netanya, and beautiful kids prepared us bags of snacks just for us to have something sweet on the way. And we arrived to a base next to Gaza. We begin to train a day or two. The people who were brought together in this group of 12 people I was in Field Intelligence Unit, were people who never trained together. Now, you can't really train in 2 days to understand how your friends are going to act. It's not ideal, for sure. And after those 2 days, all our gear is ready, and our commander says to us, leave the base, leave the tent, we're going in. So we're leaving, and we're putting all our bags outside. Then I see my friend Moshe sitting inside the tent. And he's like, with a very serious face, staring in the ground, like ground up. Like, come to him. I understood he's going through something. Moshe, what's up? I don't want to talk. Leave me alone, Shmuel. Just leave me. Moshe, we need to go, my friend. Like, come. Shmuel, I'm sorry, I'm not going to join you today. What? I'm not coming. You can tell the commander, I'm sorry, Shmuel. Good luck. Moshe, what are you talking about? Everybody's waiting for you. We're 12 people. You are one of 12. He says, listen, I'm serious. I'm not coming. I am a mathematician. I teach statistics. And I did the math. And what I got the conclusion was, there's no chance we are going to survive, and we would never come back home. We will die there. They are more ready. They're more prepared. There are millions of them. We're only 12 people. Moshe, I understand it's a serious situation. We're also afraid. But we can do it together. Very minor support. Starting the conversation. Come. He says, Shmuel, no. Okay, Moshe, do you understand we count on you? If you're not going to come, we will need a lot of help, carry more stuff we couldn't carry before. We have big bags. He says, Shmuel, with all due respect, I'm sorry, I'm not coming. Things got serious, huh? Moshe, do you understand if you're not going to come, the next step I'm going to say to the commander that you refused for, whatever you were told. This is refusing an order. You're going to jail, brother. Do you think I care about jail right now? I'm telling you, you're going and we're not going to survive. I'm going to sit 2-3 weeks in the jail and I'm going to go home. Nothing happened. It's okay. I understand I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to jail. Okay, now, that's very intense. He's very serious about it. So I had to push him a bit more. Moshe, my friend, Achi, if you're not going to come and something is going to happen to us, never in your life you could close your eyes and sleep at night. You will blame yourself forever about what you did. You're risking us. He says, I took this in consideration. I prefer to sleep not well at night, but to survive. Serious. I had to try once more, and I said, listen, I'm brackets. In Israel, in the Memorial Day, every soldier who dies, God forbid, in war, receives from a songwriter, a very famous one, a song in his memory. I told Moshe, I'm going to text my parents now. I want the title of the song that's going to be dedicated to me. Moshe, why did you kill me? Take it strong. So he looked at me and he says, Shmuel, I'm really sorry, but I just can't. I'm not going to join you. So I'm heading outside to the tent. And I told you the bags are standing there, big bags. On the top of it, there's a place to put things. I've put there the bag of snacks I received in the way on the bus, And inside there was a small letter. This is the actual letter. Goes with me for 8 years. Can you notice a child's handwriting? And he writes as follows. חייל יקר, dear soldier, תחזרו להוריכם ולילדיכם בריאים ושלמים. May you return back to your parents and children safe and sound. ואל תוותרו ואל תתייאשו. And don't give up and don't be scared. כי אתם יותר חזקים מעזה. Because you're stronger than Gaza. ושיהיה לכם מתוק כמה ופלים. And for you to have something sweet, here are some waffles. הצבא שלנו הכי טוב. Our army is the best. ועזה לא תנצח, and עזה won't win. אנחנו איתכם, תהיו חזקים. We are with you, be strong. I told my friend Moshe, I'm not good at math, but I tell you where you got it wrong. This is not 12 people against millions ready, tunnels, and enemy. We're talking about us, and behind us, the whole army, and behind them, the whole nation, and behind them, every single person who ever dreamed about Israel and prayed for Israel. They're all there behind us. And now, if I would know now what I knew there, I would say, it's not only people here. These are people from Brandon, Florida, who are coming, and they're standing behind you at all time, and especially when you're going to war. Moshe, we can do it without you. It's all good. You have an opportunity to be a part of the chain. You have an opportunity to be a bigger part of the story. Would you give it up? Or would you be strong and courageous like he asked us, like Joshua? Moshe, wake up. Moshe came, and we went. The time I've spent with you today was here to give you 3 points out of everything. 1, always take a bigger part of the story wherever you can. Number 2, in the land of Israel, which is so important for you, there's an extra element, which is the element. This is the biblical heartland. All the opposition, everything that goes against us happens because of that land. This is the connection with the divine in Israel. The prophecy, the miracle, and the promise. Number 3, whenever you think how you can love and cherish our land, think about Judea and Samaria and your blessings and your prayers in your support to the modern day pioneer.